beat the tumor. I overcame the tumor, and now it'll never hurt me again. It won't come back to me. I already proved that I was stronger than that.
I fought the tumor and the tumor didn't win. I think it's a song by Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I like it too. I sing it often.
No, but it's true.
No, it is true. It's absolutely true.
Yes.
You know, the person that, the person that attacks what's holding them back, even if they don't overcome it, is successful.
Yeah.
Because
you're fighting. You're fighting.
You've made a decision and you've acted on it.
Yeah.
You've done something. But you can't make the decision without the information. And you can't get the information without the courage to go about digging around for it. Yeah. And that's exactly what the journey letter, the 100 pages, is an exploration into information that will give you an opportunity to begin to make better decisions. Because right now, their entire decision trail is automatic. Stimulus response. Exactly. That's why the first thing I do working with anybody trying to overcome an addiction, first thing I ask people is, who's your best friend? It's Willie. Yeah, does Willie use drugs? Oh yeah. Yeah, he does. He sells drugs. He uses drugs. And he's your best buddy? Yeah. You want to get sober? Willie's gone. Yeah. No, but he's my best friend, man. He's always had my back. You know, he's da-da-da-da. He's my son's godfather and his dealer.
No, very fair.
Anyways, that's another story. We'll leave that one alone. I'll be quiet. I'll be good.
All right. Well, I think we are going to be wrapping it up here fairly soon, but I do have 2 more questions for you, Lloyd. Okay. Question number 1 is, I know you mentioned going into the jail for that first journey letter. What really kind of sparked that idea? Was it something just kind of natural? Did it just I was just very out of curiosity here.
Yeah, to go back a little bit, when I first started doing it, I was trying cases left and right, thinking that was my future. That's how I made my contribution, and it failed.
Yeah.
And out of desperation, I tried to figure out, what do I need to do to be successful at this? And that's to get them not just off a case, but out of the system. And I did it solely as a way to try to learn what motivated people to do drugs and alcohol. That's why I said it's got to be a lot of pages and stuff, and don't withhold anything. Tell me the whole story. And I'll tell you, I've learned everything you need to know from people's addictive behavior because of those stories.
That's brilliant. Just a curiosity. I want to learn what makes you tick.
Yeah.
What, no judgment, no, nothing negative. I'm genuinely curious. That's very cool.
I was so disappointed in myself that I didn't understand what the next step was. After I realized trying cases even successfully was not a good road for me to be on. Wow. I struggled because I never had alcohol. The first professional hockey team I played for, the coach calls us in and says, "Hey, you had a nice session. You guys are passing the puck. You look like you're going to have a great season. Anybody want to have a beer?" 2 guys said yes, and I won't tell you the word he used, but he said, "Get the F out of here. Alcohol in this game, don't mix. You're done here." And it scared the heck out of me. I didn't drink water for 3 weeks. So it's interesting. We learn so much about people with those journey letters, and they get strong enough to help others. And I see this as mushrooming, and that's what my hope is for it.
That's so cool. That is cool. And just the final question, what is your instruction when asking somebody to write a journey letter?
Yeah, it's almost that simple. You know, Joe, for me to do as good a job as I can, I need to know all about your life story. I don't want you to pull any punches. I don't want you to dress it up. It has to be legit, something that you went through. And I'm going to tell you when I'm through reading the letter, if you've done it right, we're going to know exactly the road to take for you to get out of this place. And that's talking to people in jail. And it is that thing of ups, downs, successes, failures, strengths, and weaknesses. Look at all of it, even your successes. Because often there's a mistake that's driving all of this stuff, and you think you're getting out of it because, you were able to buy a new car. But of course, if you're dealing drugs to do it, that's probably not the right answer. Not the best, yeah. But it is fascinating how focused they become on doing it. And I mean, I have rarely someone turn in 25 pages. I did have a message from a guy today. Mr. Freeber, I'm still working on the letter. I'm up to 36 pages. And I sent him back a thing and said, keep working because we've got a ways to go. Yeah. And so I know it's tough for them to do it, but whatever they write, however many pages they write, there's always a tremendous amount of emotion and statement about their lives. So it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty compulsive for the 100 pages.
The guy that got up to 36 pages, his case closed in 2012.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still working on it. I have a future for him.
Okay.
No, that's incredible. And thank you again for sharing all that. Do you have any last thoughts that you wish to share with us? Anything else holding up on your mind that?
Well, I'll tell you what's happened to me. I'll sit down, and I have a lot of lawyers come to me and sit down next to me, and while we're waiting for a case to be called, and they'll tell me a story. And the reaction I have is always the same. I keep thinking, have that guy write a journey letter, because they'll talk about, I got the guy off a case, and he goes out and he picks up another one, and so I often will turn to him and say, let me tell you about a journey letter. Have them write a journey letter. So many of them are doing that, but it's the frustration that many just go on and handle the case, getting them off the case. Yeah. But they know they're going to come back, and that's perhaps how they feed their kids, and I get all of that. But this movie that's in the process, it's called 100 Pages, is hopefully going to get a lot of people to rethink how they do this business, and even if it's in a couple of family members sitting and talking about another person's issue. But that journey letter has proved to be something pretty amazing. Really.
So you're trying to tell me that attorneys can be moral as a whole?
Let me think about that. Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
They can indeed. They can indeed, and a lot of them are sort of figuring it up. And frankly, when you look at the system, how it's gone from what I described as how it used to be done in the early days to all these collaborative courts, we have a new one, PC 1001.36, which is it's sort of like a special look at people who use drugs and alcohol because they have an underlying medical issue or mental health issue. And if you complete the course, which is a minimum of approximately 18 months.
That's a maximum.
Yeah, the case gets dismissed. So it's an incentive for people to come forward and talk about their issues, an incentive for them to talk to a therapist too. Talking to a therapist has been one that should have been pushed a long time ago. And of course, I had the benefit of working with him for many years, and so I realized what it was. But now to have it connected to reading these people's journey letters and giving a reinforcement to the behavior made, it's been a great combination, the journey letter with therapy, because the journey letter without therapy is interesting and can have some benefit, but it's the therapist who steps in and shows them how to use it and benefit from it.
Exactly.
Well, in a nutshell, cognitive behavioral or dialectical behavioral therapy are the therapies of choice for a simple reason. You read the journey letter and you can see that the person is looking at life events through one lens. Okay. And it's usually a very judgmental lens. And so the goal of therapy, and it's very simple, is to provide a different lens.
Yeah.
That's all. And that's all. Just a different, it's like being out taking pictures and you keep getting the same picture. And somebody says, you do realize you're standing in the same spot every time you take that picture, and it's why you keep getting the same picture. You might want to go climb that tree and see what that's like. It's called perspective.
Yes.
And so cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior, the cognitive therapies are not, it started with Stoic philosophy.
Yeah.
It isn't things, but our perception that makes all the difference. And so when you look at the same thing through a different lens and you take the judgmental nature out of it and you substitute the cause and effect, or why did this actually happen? It isn't because you're a bad person. Mm-hmm. It was because or that you were clumsy, or these judgmental terms that we absorb from people. And so what I'll do is instead of substituting, I'll say, what are some other possibilities that occurred, or that you did that, or whatever. Yeah. And all of a sudden, man, boom. Yeah. And then they realize that trying to control their life by controlling the world around them is a waste of time. What you do is, all you got to do to control yourself, control your place in the world, is to adopt a perception that works for you. Mm-hmm. Instead of all the effort that goes into trying to get people to like you and this, that, and the other thing, and it's like at some point, I had a lady last night, I actually did a house call, and she was absolutely out of control because all of her efforts weren't getting her the recognition that she thought she could get. you know. And then when we discussed the people, they were all relatives. And I said, how many of these relatives would you pick as a friend? She looked at me and stopped. She goes, what? I said, how many of the people that you're so concerned about and how they look at you would you pick as a friend, an optional person that you exchange friendship with? She goes, none of them. She goes, I don't have anything in common with them. And I said, and how much time are you spending to get them to accept and like you? I said, here's the problem. If you're successful, you're not going to like yourself because you don't like them.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get people that you don't like you. But the only way that works is if you live life the way they do, which is really going to probably make you unlikable to other people.
And then you won't
I think
like
that was
yourself,
too much.
as you said.
I think by then she was going for the gun. So
No, it makes sense.
So anyway, that was a long story. I'm just saying that there is a practical application that takes the judgment, the shame, and all of those self-punitive statements out of it when you show a person that they have the capability to rearrange their thinking about the same event, even if it happened 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And it really makes a tremendous difference in moving forward.
Yeah, well, I'll give you one more quick example of the same, hopefully clarify. This happened to me 2 days ago. I'm getting my car from the shop. I call the shop. This is an $1,100 bill, lotta. And I'm talking to the guy on the phone, and I brought my car in for two different issues. $1,100 was the second of the issues, and he had taken care of it. He says, all right, you can come get your car now. And on the phone, I go, well, wait a second. Did you check this other thing out? And he goes, check what other thing out? Nobody wrote notes. Nobody told me. I was like, okay, well, I need this checked out. And he lets out a big sigh. All right. And hangs up the phone. Now, immediately in my head goes, well, dude, I brought the car into you. You're going to sigh at me. You're going to be upset with me. I brought the car in. I told you guys what was going on. And my girlfriend stopped me and looked at me. She said, how do you know he was sighing about you? How do you know he wasn't sighing because nobody put that in the notes? And now he has to hook the car back up. Mm-hmm. So he's not upset or frustrated with you. It's probably his coworkers that was directed at. And then I was like, oh, wow, you know what? You're right. My frustration's gone. Yeah. Me being upset. But that's a matter of how taking things into perspective makes all the difference.
Yeah, but how you choose to look at things.
And how you choose to look. And as soon as whether or not, I don't know which of the two is true. But I can look at it like, you know what? The other was probably true, and that makes my life better at the end of the day.
I was driving up to Lloyd's office today on the 5 freeway. And there's a convergence as you're trying to get onto the 57. And this guy comes zipping over from 2 or 3 lanes on the left and just misses the front end. He had a spot about the size of a car. Yeah. And he squeezes in there. And we're all going about 65, 70 miles an hour. You know, my first instinct is, middle finger. Blah, blah, blah. But then I just took a deep breath and said, man, am I glad that guy went to race car driving school.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then I was fine. Yeah. I'm serious, really. And I know he didn't go to race car driving. He was kind of a dicky guy, probably. But I didn't want my blood pressure to go through the roof.
It's not worth it.
And there was nothing I was going to be able to do about any more than you could. And I have a hunch as to where your friend's perception came from, knowing where she works.
Yeah.
And the type of phone calls that come into her place.
Well, and in all likelihood with that situation, it probably was the coworkers. Like, why wouldn't you have?
But anyway,
again, it doesn't matter. Okay, I better wrap it up here. Lloyd, are you still at sobrietylaw.com?
Yep.
So Lloyd is at sobrietylaw.com. I guess. Do you have any other ways to contact you that would be the best if anybody out there is looking to contact you?
I've got a cell phone number that I give out to everybody, 714-609-2929, because often people call at a hair's moment. Sometimes it's late at night when my answering service wouldn't pick it up. So I just want to be available for them.
Wow. Very, very
And cool. I can vouch that that's absolutely true. My main complaint about my good friend Lloyd Freeberg is, Lloyd,
sleep.
Lloyd, have you eaten this week? Have you been on it? Have you gone anywhere other than this office this week? Have you Have you picked up a golf club or
Hockey stick.
a hockey stick?
That's the important one.
Lloyd still plays hockey and very active with the Anaheim Ducks. But Lloyd, I don't know how a man lives without ever sleeping. But he is absolutely available. I mean, and because he's a man that really wants to help people.
That's awesome.
Genuinely wants to help people and knows how to do it.
Very cool.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about it. The fact we're sitting here is because that journey letter is a great tool. But the people who make it work are the cognitive behavioral therapists, the therapists who look at it and use that as a way to direct therapy, and it's been extremely successful. Mm-hmm. So it's a tool, but my friend here is the one who makes it function for my clients, and I've got other ones who do it, but I've been doing this a long time, and we've got some other stuff we're going to do too. Yep. I will throw one thing out. It'd be great if we did these journey letters for state prison inmates.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough because you're going to get more of the crowd who are saying, this is where I want to be and I'm okay here.
Yeah.
But I think it might work.
No, that
well,
would
thanks.
Be so
thanks for letting me come
job,
and chat
Ethan.
about it. Thank you very much. It's good. It's always good to hang with him and chat. So
Good
the
stuff.
three of us, good.
No, thank you for coming on, man. That was incredible. Like, that was a lot of good information. Hopefully people have something they can extract from this podcast episode here, because I don't know. Like, and I always love having these conversations. I mean, even in private with you and all of that, it's very enlightening stuff here. So thank you.
Great
stuff.
A great
Thank
inquiry.
you so much.
Of course.
A very heartfelt inquiry. Rather than just superficial questions.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it goes back and forth, obviously. When there's the genuine meaning behind it, it's pretty easy to come up with genuine questions and inquiries and whatnot. But all right, just to wrap it up here, you can reach us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all popular media platforms, Facebook at scottsommersobriety.com. This is the NextGen Sobriety Podcast. I'm Ethan Sommer here with Lloyd Freeberg and Neil Sommer. Thank you again for tuning in here.